Lord, here I am with my knees.
Today is March 7th, 2026. I am SWB Part 3, Samuel William Boynton III. I was 3 years old when my father and my mother brought me off of Canoa Bay, brought me to North Philadelphia the back way, by way of Togo, with my spiritual parents, Leon Howard Sullivan and amazing Grace Banks Sullivan. It was in Togo when I was prophesied over by the KingJerlos of Nigeria and Ghana. I am a spiritual segregate baby, all grown the fuck up. My mama, in her prophetic insight, foresaw all of this, wanted to protect me, change my name. Do I look like a fucking Kevin? My grandfather, Samuel William Boynton, ain't let nobody call him Samuel. Like very few fucking people get to call me crazy ass kid. Now, my brother, Kenneth Jerome, Uptown Philly's King High School King, the prophetic point guard of Simon's Playground. I'm not him. I'm the prophetic point guard of the Bright Hope Baptist Church basement ball court. But we came up with this idea with our big, creative, artistic, producing sister, the Yokemeister, about K.J. Anderson. Y'all remember The Matrix? Orpheus was asking him, red or blue pill? And Neo, Mr. Anderson, or is it the fact that the first quote-unquote meeting of the movement in Selma was never an intended meeting? It was my grandfather, Samuel William Boynton's funeral. Put in so much work for these folks. They loved him, but were so fearful of the institution, scared to have his funeral. So Reverend Anderson said, well, I'm having his funeral. Deacon said, not in here. He said, well, I'm gonna have it on the steps. So Reverend Anderson had my grandfather, Samuel William Boynton's funeral on the steps. And the kids had always been involved, because you know the Boynton, we ride for the next generation. But when the adults came to his funeral outside, and Sergeant Clark, you know the modern day version of which is David Dunjad, senior law enforcement officer at the Martin Luther King Jr. National Park Service site, started taking pictures and reports on all the adults riding for the kids. The adults said, well, shit, since we're here, we might as well lock in the movement. Now, folk have been rewriting the Boynton history for generations. So this shit keeps changing every generation. My father said, champions don't qualify on last year's stats, nor last generation. What my grandfather did is not what my father did. That's separate from my work. I ain't like Isaac Ferris or what my uncle did and what my daddy did. Our mom has been dead for 20 years. The fuck have you done for our kids lately? Ooh, yeah. Like that though. Now, on King Holiday, 2026, Senator Raphael Warnock stood on the pulpit of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church and told a bold-faced fucking lie. He said that the March 7th march over the Edmund Pettus Bridge, known as Bloody Sunday, which we are celebrating today was about political power. And that's bullshit. Now, Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson is not my grandmother. That's my cousin Dr. Carver grandmama. That's my Uncle Bruce mama. My father's mother, my grandmother, that's Pearl E. Jackson. I'm Pearl grandbaby. And them Jackson boys don't really be playing about they mamas. You can tell by how all this shit began. Because it was Reverend James Orange. That's why I was so prophetically perturbed as Satan's minion, Shannon Jones, when 3 boys got shot in July of 2024, right after Fulton County's Big Brothers Anonymous, right after the Obama Foundation's My Brother Keeper, summer of 21, start getting all the black males and all the young kings together first and third Saturday. We did that for 3.5 years. Graduated those boys in custom cut suits from the historic Auburn Avenue Library. You go to the JROTC Platoon website, you hear them affirming, I'm a king. I defy the odds. I set a new standard. I'm a force for good. 3 weeks later, 3 boys got shot at the Reverend James Orange Park. He was a member of St. Vincent's Missionary Baptist Church. The Reverend James Orange Park. Shannon Jones calls a press rally because when 2 boys got shot in December of 2022 in Atlanta Station, he called a press rally and talked about our daughter's Brains Over Booze program, going to lower teen violence, put a couple dollars in the pockets of our children, dramatically help our community businesses, call on the community mentors. Then he found out that when I own shit, it's not like the old white man. When we had the paper directories, ain't no kickbacks. That go to our black women, our mamas, and our daughters. But he got some press from that. You know, that's what he does. Press release on the degradation of our sons and our daughters. Jesus told you about the hireling and the squad. When they see the wolf coming, they turn their back because they don't give a fuck about our kids. But not me, I'm the good shepherd. I lay down my life for the sheep. I'll pick it back up because this is the commandment I got from my father. Like that, though. Anyway, so he calls a prayer rally at 6 p.m. at the Reverend James Orange Park. That park popping, 6 p.m. Biggest independent Little League football team. Mamas and they babies. My baby Virginius is on the tennis court, on the pool. My other young kings getting it in the friggin' basketball court. It's the park. Nobody know this nigga. He never been out here. Called it at 6 o'clock. You got grandmama and everybody out here. Shows up at 6:15. Nobody knows who the fuck he is, but we just waiting. Sees there's no press. I'm trying to be nice. Hey, y'all to go Reverend Jones there. On tape, he rolls down his window, says, KJ, don't make me get out the car and fuck you up. Rolls his window up and drives off. Now, why does that matter to me? Because I remember standing with my father, Samuel William Boynton Jr., John Lewis, Joe Roberts, when they dedicated that park to Reverend James Orange. Because it was Reverend James Orange who was locked up for helping Mama Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson help folk get registered to vote on February 18th, 1965. That they thought the racist Alabama police abusing their authority was going to murder. That the community, mothers, children, real men of God, decided to march to get Reverend James Orange out of jail. That march was intercepted by the racist Alabama state troopers. who begin to abuse their power against good people of God, rape black women. They began to murder and assault black men, took the cameras, took the lights, like ICE is now, chased Miss Jackson, Grandma Jackson, oh yeah, and old man Jackson into the diner on horseback, Jimmy Lee Jackson, community contributor, major man of God, young deacon. Can you believe that? They said, Jimmy, you're doggone in there. He said, well, shit. Blessed came out into the world. Black sitting there, I returned. I came in through my mama. I'm willing to go out the fuck over my mama. Martin Luther King Jr. said, you hadn't found what it means to live until you figured out what you willing to die for. Jimmy ran up in that diner, pulled that pecker neck off his mama, took 2 in the gut. He didn't bleed out 8 days later. It was his second surgery that killed his ass. The mamas was at Brown. They said, you know, Mary Foster, I believe, you know what we ought to do? We ought to take Jimmy's body and go dump it on George Wallace's fucking desk. Now, Martin Luther King Jr. was on the phone, but he never showed the fuck up. So we can extinguish this whole fucking lie. After Yolanda dies, and after Mama Amelia shut her eyes, that AD was on this fucking bridge. Stop the bullshit.
Down beds flows and the spirit fills. Copper in the veins and they're
now,
we hold the wealth that money cannot buy, from the lungs of the Congo to the Sahara heat.
This directly shows us that the March 7th March over the Edmund Pettus Bridge, known as Bloody Sunday, was in direct response to racist police commissioned by the state, abusing their oath and their power to target good, wholesome black folk. No way you could be a senator, the pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, and not know that. No way you could respect our God, stand in his sacred space, pulpit, and tell that bold lie. If God and his word meant anything to you, I am the last son of the heritage sanctuary of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. I was sent to back up Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts. I was sent by Reverend Dr. William Herbert Gray III, the man that Daddy King called after Martin Luther King Jr. was murdered, after A.D. King was murdered. Herbie, my second spiritual father, told me Daddy King was on my phone talking about get down here. It's like, no, my man, they just got my ace boom coon. Tell you what I'm gonna do though, I'm gonna hook you up with this nigga from Chicago. We call him Jersey Joe. My ace boom coon from Princeton. He got that show enough, real, hood, Holy Ghost, fire. Real Pentecostal preacher. Not like that imposter in the horizon. And he ain't no hoe. He got that backbone you're looking for. Said when Mama King met Joe Roberts, she said, I found my man, found my pastor. Joe seen all that political shit and was like, I don't know. Then after they came to get Daddy King, missed, killed his boo-boo. Mama King, in front of his baby girl, Willie Christine King Ferris. One of the members asked Joe, how many more folk you gonna let die before you help Dad? Joe became the pastor of the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church. Herbie thought he was cool. Then his pop died. Bright Hope was voting. And he got a phone call. Was like, hey, pastor. He's like, y'all stop playing. Who you vote for? Said, you. Ain't in the election. Run again. Now, Mama Dash told me about a week or two later, the phone was ringing and Herbie was just looking at it. She said, answer the phone, pastor. They ain't pick it up. She picked up the phone and said, hold on, let me get your pastor. Gave him the phone, and Herbie became the pastor of the Bright Hope Baptist Church. Now these two rewrite suckers, call them what the fuck they is. Sambos, slave, master, seminary, sellouts. And let me tell you why I say it like that. So fiery in the Holy Ghost. Because my mama, Amazing Grace Banks Sullivan, she saved my spiritual father, Leon Howard Sullivan, the Lion of Zion before this one, from that Abyssinian political bullshit. If you go to selectpatronage.com and click on the documentary, I've intentionally made it start at the part where he says it was Amazing Grace who told him to get away from Abyssinian because that political stuff was getting him away from God. Warnock started at Abyssinian. Kevin Johnson just ended up at Abyssinian. The same fucking political machine. Now, believing soldiers, fall in. Today's lesson is about how the spiritual EOD unit. Now, I'm not my father. Y'all. For every diamond they cut from the stone, we grew a king on the spiritual throne. Yo, my father was a captain in the United States Marine Corps. He was a commander of an EOD platoon, explosive ordnance disposal. Philly mailman. Yeah, you call him that. That was his handle. Rain, sleet, or snow. Whatever the fuck you put on his desk, he'd deliver. You know, an apostle carries a message. So you can say he's a mailman. Ain't I a hell of a package and a message to deliver? I don't run the explosive ordnance disposal. I run the spiritual EOD, explosively ordained disciples. Christ, Yeshua, never said if you wanted to be my Muslim, if you identify as Mu'min, you already know. During this sacred moment of Ramadan, Assalamu alaikum. He never said, if you want to be my Jew, y'all niggas ain't gonna Kanye me. If you identify as a Jew, I love you. He never said, if you want to be my Christian. If you identify as a Christian, I love you. He said, if you want to be my disciple. It's levels to this. Everybody got opinions. They like buttholes. In my opinion, being a Christian, a Muslim, and a Jew is not enough to fulfill the purpose that God has placed on your life. You got to be a disciple. Root word of disciple is discipline. Now, we did this about 15 years ago. North Philly, you know, we got a high Muslim, Christian, and Jewish population. There's much that we can agree on However, the Quran and the Bible both state that there are some foundational things that we can agree to focus on that will improve our communities, our youth, our households. Let's stop fighting ourselves and focus our energy on the positive as an example to our youth in submission to our God. See, Warnock don't tell you about it, but in this fight that I got with Doug Mesner, that's his fucking name, changed his name to Lucian Greaves when he launched the satanic temple that's behind the after-school Satan Club that Urban Success University been smacking around for the past decade. Warnock and Isaac, I talk too much about him, because he got a lot of ties with Race Point Global. You know, that's the billion-dollar media company owned by Larry Weber, Leah Weber's daddy. You know, that's Leah Weber King. You know, Race Point Global owns King Inc. Dexter owned King Inc. Dexter founded King Inc. Dexter's wife, Leah, is the boss. Not Bernice. She's just a talking fucking head. All of the foundational teachings and principles of Urban Success University, as founded by Yolanda Denise King, will be based on African Christianity practically applied in the urban American context. We refer to those as kingdom principles, found in both the Quran and the Bible. Regardless of whether you are a Christian, Muslim, or Jew, all parents should know the teaching of Urban Success University, adequate respect all religious viewpoints of all involved. Go ahead over and download a copy of the Kingdom Understanding. It's just everything that's in the Bible and the Quran and the Torah, Adam and Eve, Joseph, Pharaoh and the dream, Moses, David, Goliath, Warlock, I'm finna get you, boy, and Saul, Zachariah and John, and Mary. Our foundational text, for those who do not know, is 2 Timothy, the 2nd chapter. You got to be strong in the grace, God's amazing grace, not the Amplified Bible Dictionary definition, but says you got to be strong. So we use the Strong's New Testament Bible Dictionary definition of grace. The divine influence upon your heart that needs to get reflected in your life. Your heart, your shanana, your inner being. God is doing something in me because he desires to do something through me. For those of his children he has attached to me. It's your purpose, your assignment. You got to be strong in the grace, 2nd verses of Jesus Christ. Says, 3rd verse, you, thou therefore, endure hardness as a good soldier. Good believing soldier of Jesus Christ. A lot of our sons, when they look at a fake KJ, always imitated, never duplicated, Kevin Johnson up there at Abyssinia, how he slid through and disrespected this shit out of my ball court, Bright Hope. You know, he tried to bring Warnock up there April 14, 2014, right? When I was breaking off this, booting his ass and kicking him the fuck out. Every usher board took off. I got the little photo op in Ebenezer. So what? But when our sons look at the historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, Horizon Sanctuary, Daddy King's desk, they see the first black senator. And since he went in office, there's been 2 black boys shot at Atlantic Station. Ain't said a word. 3 boys shot at the Reverend James Orange Park. Ain't said a word. At the tip of Black Business Month, there were 11 black men shot in the 300 block of Edgewood Avenue. It's like a 3-minute walk from the front door of his sanctuary. His men's minister, his youth advocate, the one showing his picture sitting behind the president at Jesse Jackson's funeral, was posting a picture in the fucking Hamptons with a tuna. That ultimately said to our young black boys, we don't give a fuck about you, but this is the team that is the voice of ending mass incarceration. No wonder when ICE is in South Georgia, DeKalb, running around College Park, he ain't said shit. No wonder when our students are in the street, first in Marietta, Gwinnett, Fulton County, Henry County, ain't said shit. But your senator launched his Ebenezer One campaign. Launched it based on creating a tech center for our kids, a justice fund. But the same children baptized by Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts, the daughters, have needed access to justice. They ain't been able to tap into that fund. He's been weaponizing law enforcement, the National Park Service, the folk on his little security detail payroll to intimidate the young black boys that are a part of his congregation because they let their hair grow out. They let their facial hair grow. They represent their African roots. When he was the pastor of youth pastor of Abyssinian, them Harlem youngers said they was ready to fuck him up after he brought Castro to their community. In Baltimore, as he was pastor, a young boy got abused. Under his leadership, he showed up the next morning and was arrested. And because of his political affiliations, got out of it because he was within his legal right. When he came to historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, we had 5 generations of black men. I got this leadership Bible from John Maxwell in 2011 when he was ministering in the black clerical community of Atlanta. He wasn't there. But when John Maxwell was sitting on that pulpit, when he told that lie, John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on leadership. I got sent by William Herbert Gray to back up Joseph Lawrence Roberts because Dexter killed the youth department and the boys of the 4th Ward was coming to fuck Dex and Isaac up. And Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts needed more than just Deacon Marvin Brinson at the desk. He needed a young buck that could speak the language and be running around the old 4th Ward. Reverend Dr. Joseph Lawrence Roberts placed me under watch care, placed me under Deacon Marvin Brinson that next Sunday, January 23rd, 1994. I'm the only minting ministerial member of the Heritage Sanctuary that didn't bow down to this bitch poor. My roots deeper than the Southern rewrite. I was sent as Amazing Grace Banks Sullivan's lightning rod to hold down Armenian University. And surprise, 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 the one thing Edith Scott Bagley and a lot of mamas at Horizon Sanctuary know I got that Isaac ain't never produced. I got Yolanda God kids. My oldest daughter, she thinks she a little yogi. You just see my son in pictures with her granddaughter because it wasn't until about 5 years ago when I definitively made up in my mind I wasn't gonna murder Isaac Ferris Jr. for all the disrespect he did to our mothers. What? It's a redemptive God. Can't go to jail for a thought I had planned it. For all the shit he did. Nah. But I punked this bitch ass and told him after his mama was gone, I was gonna get him. He's a hoe. You don't gotta actually fuck up a nigga like that. Just tell his bitch ass. And so when our sons look up and they see Isaac's cronies, Eric Vincent Thomas, Shannon Jones, John Vaughn, they see the rewrite of the black church. Male masculinity removed from the messaging of the Messiah. They look at this Christian nationalism shit and they feel like Christianity is a slave religion. Nah. You just only got the slave Bible version. And so what do? Well, what do? They cut up the Exodus story. Took out Moses, took out Caleb, took out Joshua, took out the judges. The motherfuckers tried to cut out young Samuel. Fuck, you gonna cut me out, nigga. When Martin Luther King Jr. came to Selma, he didn't ask for a pulpit. He ran up 13, 15 Lapsy, now 13, 15 Boynton, and asked my grandfather, can I come in the house so the bad man don't get me? When Mama Amelia got cracked upside the head on that bridge, motherfucker told Sergeant Clark, he said, he's let the bosses get her, Mr. Anderson. Said, nigga, you better call ambulance, we gonna burn this bitch down. My father was a Socratic strategist. He knew wasn't no way on God's given earth you motherfuckers was gonna reconstruct my grandfather's crib. Knowing it was Boynton males alive. He liked my Uncle Bruce, man, but my Uncle Bruce a little nerdy. And he was a sucker for love. He told my Aunt Betty every fucking thing. She thinks she know everything. Lay Aunt Betty. Spiritual warfare at its finest. So we let all that slave shit come and go where y'all looking for the real. The fact that the sacred scroll was written in Hebrew, Greek, and Aramaic. Now you want that Togo. Spiritual highway. Now you want that African prophetic, that African Christianity practically applied in the urban American context. Is that why God used Governor Brian Kemp to sign Senate Bill 36 on Martin Luther King's Ascension Day? I know. When David stepped to Goliath, he laughed at Goliath like I'm laughing at Warnock. He said, you come at me with political power, law enforcement, spear and sword. Nigga, I'm coming up against you in the name of the Lord of hosts. That's the militant God. We got Moses and we got Joshua. God is a God of purpose. God uses the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And so God desired to take a little hood boy to go talk to Pharaoh on behalf of God and say, let my folk in the hood go. And so through a divinely orchestrated series of events, Moses went to the religious cemetery. The slave master seminary. The colonizer classroom. He grew up in Pharaoh's house. Y'all get the point. Because God wanted him to be able to speak the king's English to the queen's liking on behalf of God. So let my folk in the hood go. Now, God be doing the same thing, but he don't be doing it the same way. Yes, Joshua divides the inheritance. But he don't go to no means. He conquer it first. Deuteronomy, the 34th chapter. Mr. I've been to the mountaintop, seen the promised land. God allows Moses to go up, look over, see the mountaintop, but God doesn't allow any of us to know where Moses' tomb is. Why? Foundation of the Moses teaching, Don't lift up any idols. And in our finite understanding, we return Moses to the idol he warned us about. We had placed his tomb on Auburn Avenue and created a Moses assembly plan. 60 years later, want to walk like Moses, talk like Moses, fart like Moses, preach like Moses, teach like Moses. God used Moses 60 years ago. The messaging of the Messiah is the same, or the message is the same, but the messaging has to change. Let's parallel it, contrast it. Joshua, the 5th chapter, 13 verse, he got his head down. Satan and his minions, they like, oh, we got him now. He lift his head up and say, I am. They're like, oh, shit. I'm Pearl's grandbaby, nigga. That's enough. What do you mean by that? Get up on your history. Because that was the mama who built that Dallas Voting League shit.
Look at the skin, black gold. Look at the story never fully told.
Joshua lifts his head, and the first thing he sees, Joshua 5:13, is not Jericho. Sees a man with a military suit and a sword in his hand. He says, you for us or against us? Neither. I represent the Lord of hosts. That's the militant God. And so our sons, our daughters, they like, what the fuck is the difference between this democratic shit that they loading up with all these buck-breaking preachers and the white nationalist shit? It's all watered down. It's a slave religion. They just give me the slave version. Let's tap into the soldier version. It's been in your Bible the whole time, 2 Timothy 2nd chapter 3rd verse. You got to endure hardship as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. No man that warreth, this spiritual warfare at its finest, entangles himself with the affairs of this life, not Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. Fuck all that shit. He want to please him who chose him, enlisted him as a soldier. Christ, one image, many dimensions, the original general. The one who enlisted us. Teaches us how to humbly rumble the right way. What's that? Righteousness, spiritual weapon, pop quiz, who won it? You the righteousness of God. We fighting the right way. With our believing soldiers' spiritual weapons, they're all biblical principles. The sacred scroll defines who we are. When we're teaching the real word of God, you gotta love what T.I. said. I support the work of the kingdom, but I ain't fucking with the niggas up in the church because they ain't teaching the word. Believing soldier battalion aren't. Because the scripture defines who we are. We're not just believers, we're believing soldiers. There's the Moses generation and the Joshua generation. The generation of Martin Luther King Jr. They demonstrated the power of nonviolence. That was the Moses generation. Moses led the people out of bondage. But after Moses came Joshua, the warrior of the word. Joshua generation got a different assignment. Joshua generation had to build, defend, take responsibility for the land. Today's young believers are living in the Joshua generation. And the Joshua generation must learn spiritual warfare. Ephesians 6:12, why? Because nowhere in our history have any of our prophets been pussies. How in the world you gonna stand up, stand 10 toes down to spiritual wickedness in high places if you a bitch? Right, Warnock? I'm asking. It means believing soldiers. We don't fight people.
Look at the story never fully told.
Not flesh and blood. Principalities. Political powers. Rulers of darkness in the political world. We don't fight people. We fight deception, corruption, injustice, spiritual darkness, lies, systems that oppose the truth. What is Satan? A manipulator, an accuser, a liar, as warlock. The truth is not in him. Now, your believing soldier spiritual weapons training manual in this 3-year training exercise has been a practical explanation, an example of how to utilize the believing soldier weapons to win life's battles, even against the hardest political opposition. A lot of y'all asking about 2012 because we took out Judge O'Neill. Judge O'Neill roofed Allen Iverson. Judge O'Neill in Norristown roofed Bill Cosby. We took Judge O'Neill up, head up. Yeah, he remanded me to the Montgomery County Correctional Facility for 180 days for a charge that carried no jail time, because that was his power. And I got to hang out with Drew Diegler as the chaplain, and we turned it out. Same way we did with VAPS 1 on State Road. It was the way that God orchestrated us getting inside of or behind the wall to teach his men these believing soldier spiritual weapons. As far back as 07, Warnock, when has your staff ever been behind the wall? Who had Devin Crawford faggot ass preach his sermon from the same Horizon pulpit you lied in, talking about that ain't our Jesus? Why? Because he's appointed now as Kamala's pastor. Every fucking thing y'all do is politically undergirded. You non-Pentecostal pussy. I'm punching you in the pulpit with what we define as pugilistic theology. We're not teaching black liberation theology. You done already disrespected your teacher, James Cone. The example he used was Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Both came from Baptist households. One, more colonized. Malcolm Little didn't identify with him culturally. The other was the church you the pastor of, Daddy King's church, the one with the African cross on the bell tower you ain't taught for 20 years. It's a clue, hint, hint. It's the reason when they built the sanctuary your bitch ass jacked, that it was constructed to look like an African hut that's home base for little black boys and little black girls. So when them little black boys and little black girls in the street talking about where can we go, they can run back to the throne of Ebenezer. That's why it was created like a hut. So even they little thrones in the air, they can see the gold dome where the politicians be, and they can see the African hut that the little black boys and little black girls is home base. But you done jacked it. So now our sons out here in the streets. And you talking about ending mass incarceration, you're provoking it. You can't talk about weaponizing law enforcement on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, because that's what the fuck using the law enforcement and National Park Service to do. Jesus talked about it, your hired ass. So I'm going to teach our sons how to use the principles that our mothers gave us. Like, you slid in right when my brother died. In between where our mamas are slick and Coretta stroke and Yolanda. You know what the fuck y'all was really up to on that 2007 holiday when Yolanda made me go behind the desk? You bitch ass know it's her last public performance. Your whole ass know how bad them kids been asking. And you keep sweeping it the fuck under the rug, talking about they kids. Well, bitch nigga, it's Fulton County. Senator, them kids get guns 10 times in library cards. Damn, mostly unhealthy. If I don't curse you the fuck out, they talking about running into all their shit. So I gotta teach them about the greatest spiritual weapon. Walk up to Coretta's tomb. It's called love, you hoe. Let me teach you about faith. teach you about hope, knowledge. They're all spiritual weapons. Wisdom, integrity, righteousness, perseverance, patience, humility, temperance. Do I need to define meekness? Because your whole ass been taking my meekness for weakness, my boy. Now, we know you a hoe. You shouldn't run or think you're running for president, because I'm going to tell you. When you were weaponizing law enforcement against this prison ministry, Josh Shapiro was eulogizing my best friend. Your law enforcement was coming against us when Josh Shapiro was eulogizing my best friend, the first officer to die in the line of duty for Temple University history, February 18, 2023. That's what the fuck David Dunjab is referring to inside of his discovery when he says, I asked him to reschedule the date for our daughters, and he refused because you needed to have the weights down in Selma so you could get them on their political appointment. Deal with you physically, son. If your brother Keith was locked up for moving work for them Savannah niggas as a corrupt cop, when Amelia Isadora Platts Boynton Robinson talks about her second assassination attempt on that boat off the Defusky Island in Savannah, I knew what you were, son, and could have extinguished you before you ever made it to fucking office. But God, right there, boy. But God, see, with me and the people, when we look at history, you just like Robert Nix to William Herbert Gray III, the first black congressman that Gray took out. Our stories are damn near exact, except I never worked for you. Exactly aligned, and I have no political aspirations. I saw Herbie achieve what you aspire to and tell that shit to kick rocks, to get God the glory. We not the same, ho boy. See, my spiritual fathers put work in. I can be traced my whole life. People like, what's going on in the last 20 years? I dumb myself down, because in the event I didn't make it here, I didn't want Isaac Ferris Jr., Raphael Warnock, or Shannon Jones to ever say I worked with them after I seen how they tried to use Yolanda. And then she got murdered. And, I mean, I was licensed by Leon Howard Sullivan. Yeah, I'm the motherfucker that turned down the ordination of Raphael Warnock. Then me and my squad took the biggest dope corner in North Philadelphia and turned it into the sanctuary for our prison ministry. I would have been in the class with Shannon Jones. Shit made me want to take a shower every time I think about it. Reverend Dr. Alvin Paul Brinson, Daddy King Youngbuck, ordained all these niggas. Was the run that ML put on the EYO. March 9th to 15th, wrote the Appeal for Human Rights, was the first one to sit down at a counter for the Atlanta student movement. Used to drive that fucking old Volkswagen that Daddy King gave him to the fucking wheels fell off. Prince, give me them keys. Boy, take the keys and get y'all back out there. Our kids got AI. They can see through all this plastic shit. Yeah, I burned the fucking bag. I'm from the hood. The fact that I made $1 million is incredible. Documented for burning it the fuck out over 20 years. Yeah, I did that. The flex ain't about getting money. We've been getting money, been buying houses, been buying cars, been buying fits. It's only your dream house till you pay the taxes for a year. Only your dream car till you drive it for a month.
Oh, how beautiful.
That's a mill invested in our babies. So I can be me. So I can let my hair grow the fuck out. I can pass the baton to my daughters. Ain't got none. That's what Isaac can't stand. See, Boynton III redeemed it. He gave credit to a granddaughter. But the little grandbaby she remember running around is that same little boy they trying to target, my son. Closest thing to a grandson Christine King Ferris ever really fucking had is my son. You see him with her daughter, her granddaughter. All the motherfuckers want to try and get it back. Think about the boys. Fuck you and that bag if you want to get it like that. Isaac on Trump lap sold that shit the fuck out. Come on, man. Warnock, you got a problem with me, but you laughing and joking with Trump crony every fucking day. When you was up against Herschel Walker, you was fucking quiet. Now you up in there talking about Trump because it's popular. Isaac, I'm cool, right? Yeah, we know you a bitch. Telling Trump come to Bible study. All you niggas take notes. Oh yeah, this has been Bible study. And the sermon. See, first rule in spiritual warfare, remnant, JROTC platoon, teach y'all how I've been dealing with this bitch nigga. Your spiritual weapons training manual tells you to go in before we go out. That means before you move in public, prepare in private. Preparation includes prayer, study, meditation, praise, obedience, clowning these niggas because they clowns. A soldier who does not prepare spiritually is entering battle unarmed. See, it's about the long game. It's chess, it ain't checkers. Checkers, that's what they play. They reactive. I make a move, you make a move. I make a move, you make a move. I'm a bent over, you stick it in. The move versus move. That's how they move. For real though. And it's different than chess. It's strategic. I'm only making the move I'm making in order for you to make the move that you make so I can checkmate your whole ass. A lot of people don't understand how spiritual warfare works. Sometimes victory doesn't happen immediately. Victory requires patience, spiritual weapons, strategic strategy. Y'all ever read The Art of War from Sun Tzu? Ancient military principle is inside that thing. What'd he say? Listen to me closely. When capable, appear incapable. And when you get active, act inactive. It's called strategic deception through feigned weakness. Just training. Just the boys, the Bill, great. Basketball league boys. Sometimes you gotta allow folk to underestimate you. Not because you're weak, but because the mission is bigger than the moment. Real movements are not built in headlines. They're built over generations, decades. 20 years might feel like a long time to a person, but in history, it's just a training season. Movements connected to leaders like Amelia Isadora Platts, Boynton Robinson, Amazing Grace Banks Sullivan, Andrea, the Dash Gray, Marion, Grace Gundy, H.U., you know, Mama Ethics, Winifred Morris, Cynthia, Dolores, Nonage, Tucker, Rose Louise McCauley Park, my hip-hop urban news professor, Dr. E.S.B., Edith Scott Bagley, her little sister, Coretta Scott King, my mama, my kingdom big sister, the creative, artistic, prophetic producer of this whole shit, the Yorkmeister, Yolanda, Denise King. Movements connected to prophetic prophetess like that. Move on generational timelines, my boy. When a soldier, what'd I tell y'all? What'd I tell y'all? What'd I tell y'all? 2 Timothy, 2nd chapter, 3rd and 4th verse. You have to endure hardship as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. No man that warreth entangles himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who chose him to be a soldier. What Jesus say? The hireling still kill and destroy. I lay my shit down. Why? Because this is the order I got from my father. And I'm so fucking bad. Michael Jackson, Shimon. I'll pick it the fuck back up again. It's breaking tradition. A soldier plays the long game. So that my young youth stop being so emotionally moved. They set you up with this shit. When you a soldier and you 10 toes the fuck down, you play the long game. You ain't wasting no energy. Listen, man. You can't win every battle when you decided to end the war. Instead, the real soldier, the general of our generation, builds quietly, invest in youth, documents the truth, develops institutions, finishes the assignment. Fuck how you start, it's about how you finish. Does not spend energy trying to win arguments with hypocritical hoes, calling themselves honorable. It's the principle of stewardship. God gives us a certain amount of time, treasure, and talents, and they are to be spent, not invested, into building something that will outlast the argument, your assignment. It's the first commandment from the Father. Be fruitful, not fruity like them fuck nuts. It's emotional intelligence. One of the greatest weapons a believing soldier has. You let these little girls move you. Like these little girls behind the pulpit trying to move you. A real man of God, we not emotionally moved. A soldier has to learn how to stay calm under pressure.
And it's come to pass.
I might curse you the fuck out, but I ain't pissed off. You just deserve to be cursed the fuck out.
Good only for a taste.
How, you know, a soldier, I'm still training next generation. How to avoid reacting emotionally. You see what Warnock staff do? That's why I came down, and so they tried to do it to me. You calling my sons niggers. Telling them little boys you gonna fuck them up. They ain't playing with you. They being respectful because you ain't mom in church about you gonna fuck them up, they gonna get hurt. Then calling the police and locking them up. It's documented. What y'all do? You ran Tyson away. Why? Because of what Warnock did with Maul Stevens. That was a little boy. You coming after little boys and shit you did with their grandmothers. They gonna fuck you up. And I'm not being aggressive, I'm being realistic. And you playing in that space. Using your third-party staff to harm innocent black boys in the metro Atlanta, just like you did in Baltimore. The only difference is your political influence, your power has increased, so your influence and your devastation and destruction into the lives of our young black boys has more depth. Fuck everything else. We talking about you in the power seat of black men. Don't teach African word. Don't teach the word. Sold out on every issue. When the vaccine mandate was lifted, you still had it there. Why? Because what's most important to you is pushing poison to our people. Vaccine killing people. Why are you talking about healthcare, healthcare, healthcare? Because it's a lobby issue. Every fucking thing you do comes down to $1, not the Messiah. And our boys gotta understand that shit. Because they might not be able to articulate that shit so well. And your whole ass got such a polished position and so many of your cronies in these little positions that you're taking out our black boys. And that's why the fuck they keep elevating you politically. That's what you and Isaac real good at. And my nigga, ain't shit really take place on Auburn Avenue, bro. But you niggas got a little bit of power from the shit our mamas did, and now you done went to the point where fuck you, my nigga. Call Andrew Kerr back, because you wouldn't call the black boys in the community. So I sent Andrew up just to show how fast your staff responded to your press. Call him Sunday before the article dropped. And said, don't print my address. Ask him who gave it to him. Story about your fucking, your head of your board. All you motherfuckers, man. You pushing that vaccine. You the reason our youth need to blow one, bitch. What, my boy? You don't like creative arts? Is that why your music ministry is so fucking lame? Excited, Jack one lot. And Miss Jackson. You can't stand the Lord of Hosts? King's it. Praise break. So my youth, when the colonizers are clowns, weaponizing law enforcement against you, use these past 3 years as a demonstration of the power of your believing soldiers' spiritual weapons. Them niggas hoes, man, blowing blood on them bitch niggas. And remember your believing soldiers' spiritual weapons. They were designed to teach you the biblical principles of manhood, how to stay calm under pressure, how to avoid reacting emotionally, how to wait for just the right moment, and how to remain disciplined during conflict, because anger destroys strategy. Patience reveals the truth. History often celebrates the loudest voices, but movements are actually sustained by the quiet builders, the teachers, the organizers, the mentors, the people who invest in young people and continue the work after the cameras have left. Those are the people who keep the movement alive. The next generation, you, believing soldiers, JROTC platoon, Mompreneur Squad members, Goddess Empire builders. You must focus, as you have seen me for the past 20 years, on protecting young people as I, as the lightning rod, have given of myself to protect you. You must focus on preserving historical truth. You must continue to build what you have constructed as the third principle of the United Nations global celebration of people of African descent, this now digital resurrection of Progress Plaza. You must continue the brother build blueprint that was provided by my spiritual parents via your buildsisterbuild.com. Keep providing, keep building economic opportunities for our people. Keep strengthening those in the trenches of our communities. Keep teaching the real principles of faith and leadership, because this is how believing soldiers win battles without violence, without physical violence, without political violence, without emotional violence, and without spiritual violence. I leave you with this last text. Y'all know where it is. Second epistle, Corinthians 10th chapter, the 4th verse. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, therefore we don't got flesh and blood weapons. The weapons of our warfare, not flesh and blood, they're not carnal, but they are mighty for the pulling down of strongholds that Satan has on the minds of our children. And so the charge to the JROTC platoon of the Believing Soldier Battalion, as I release you on this Sabbath, March 7th, 2026, as your training commander. Never forget, you got to be ICTORY and no reason to fear, for you have Jesus on your side. God didn't give you a spirit of fear. He gave you power, love. A sound mind. One translation says strong discipline. Obedience to the soldier is foundation. And so remember this, soldiers, victory does not always look like confrontation. You gotta laugh at the news, you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes victory looks like patience, discipline, documentation, building institutions, investing in youth, and finishing the assignment. That's the long game. When people look back years from now, they'll realize something. What looked like silence was actually strategy. What looked like weakness was patience. And what looked like waiting was biblical building. And here go that trumpet. Let me put that into perspective for you. The King of Glory. That nigga disrespected our mama so much. I honor even his own mama more than he did. Isaac Ferris, piece of shit. My sons will teach my mama. My biological mama, my spiritual mama. Anchor, Yoki mama on both sides. It's a lot behind that, Boynton, Scott, Covenant. It's a lot behind that. It's a lot behind that. Amen. It's a lot behind that. It's a whole lot behind that. Amen. We're going to close out with respecting the Selma the GOAT, man. On behalf of the Scott and the Boynton family, we want to show honor and reverence to Dr. Bernard Lafayette. Have respect for your covenant. Daddy King will say, are you listening?
Have respect for your covenants. For the dark places of the earth are full of habitations of cruelty. Some of the things that have happened in your life, you think they just happened. Sometimes they were demonically engineered. But today we call on the God of the armies of the heavens and the earth. Because he came here today. Because he came here today. As I sound this alarm, I will blow this trumpet.
Erica, Mook Mook, Amy, Joy Joy, Keisha, my believing Souljet, daughters of the remnant. We honor, we love, we miss you. JROTC, you are Active?